This is an actual training from our Las Vegas mastermind event for our playing clientele within the mastermind. We have our next event coming up, which is in November in Dubai on the Palm, which is the 9th and 10th, Friday and Saturday. If you want the secrets to blow up your fitness business, we are going to be teaching you some bombshell stuff, in particular how to double your business over Black Friday alone. So hit the link below this video. You can get tickets now for the event. We have a maximum sit-in of 10 people who can sit in the room. Now enjoy the training. What I'm going to talk about is how to create a brand and a legacy that lasts, because respectively everyone is in this room because basically my personal brand and leveraging social media content and everything I've done. So a really interesting thought process that Alex Hormozy talks about a lot, and I think about this a lot more now, is the finite versus infinite game with everything you're doing. So if we relate this to fitness with the clients we work with, like fitness is an infinite game. Like if it was a finite game, it ends when you die, right? So like it's almost something you want to get across to your clients. And you think about business, the goal is to stay in business, to have a successful business. So like that has to be rule number one of like, where is this going to go longer term with everything? Now, with that in mind, when you think about what happens with business being an infinite game, the strongest thing you have is actually the compounding effect of everything you do. So when you break that down, what you want to do is you want to maximize the leverage of what you do within your business to try and get it to grow. So when we look at creating leverage comes in three forms. So time, aka people you can employ, whether that be call setters, phone closers, people to do your admin, people to do your editing, people to do your filming like Lewis behind the camera, whatever that might be. So that's one form of leverage for time. Next you have capital, aka putting money to Facebook ads. We're going to come into these in more detail. And the next you have software and automation tools like AI, which we've had a huge amount more come out now since ChatGPT getting released in November. And there's constantly new things that come out to the market that make our life easier. Now, I think Archimedes talks about if you have a lever that's big enough, then you can move the world if you're far enough away from it. And that's what you want to think about in terms of your business is creating more and more leverage as the business grows, because you've got more tools and more of the three different things that can give you leverage to give more of an impact. So this is essentially what we want to be trying to do, is move ourselves further back along this line to create more leverage so that we can get bigger pushes up in our business. Now, when we look at, sorry, the size of this is really small. So if we look at time, people, and how to delegate and team building to create leverage, which I know is some of the questions people have asked, the key thing to think about here is the goal number one is to buy back your time. So the first thing you want to think about with this as a task, I don't know why that's missing. So it's not on there for some reason. I think the formatting screwed up on this. So goal number one when it comes back to task for buying back your time is this. So if you work out a really simple task for everyone, what's your hourly rate, right? So if you work out how much profit you make per month, if you work out how many hours you work, you can then work out what your hourly rate is, right? Once you've got that, say for example you worked 100 hours a month and it was 20K a month profit you made, that's £200 a month, your £200 an hour your income is, right? So anything underneath that task, you should be looking to really try and delegate to someone else. So that's the first task I recommend everyone does. Work out what your hourly rate is and what it should be. And I know this is something I spoke about Adam about, it's like with your team building, it's like you need to get this shit off your plate, otherwise you're gonna get massively stuck in your business. And this is one of the biggest reasons people get stuck, is because they're so stuck in the weeds with what they're doing that they can't see the overall big picture, or like what's the big thing you should do next, because you're doing the do rather than like planning an overall vision of the strategy of the business. A second thing is delegate anything in your personal business life that's less than your hourly rate. So for example, my favorite thing about Dubai is the efficiency in terms of how you can live. So if you look, for example, how easy it is to delegate tasks in terms of having a housekeeper to do all your shit for you. So you shouldn't be washing, you shouldn't be cleaning, you shouldn't be doing any of these things. The other thing I'd say is in terms of like cooking. You don't want to spend 2 hours a day cooking when your hourly wage is £200 an hour. So whether that be getting meal prep, having someone come in to cook for you, think about how efficient you can make your lifestyle, and that will give you more time to work back on your business. I don't know why these are all missing. I might have to swap this onto my laptop. Okay, I'm gonna try and remember what this one was. So I think Task number 3, well, actually, Gavin will know this, is Love and Loathe task that Craig talks about a lot. So the Love and Loathe task is very simple, right? Get a piece of paper, put a line down the middle of it, put love on the top left, loathe on the top right, and what you want to do with that is you want to then put down everything you do every single day, right? So the key thing with that, that's going to make your life a lot easier, is that you can then eliminate anything you don't want to be doing. So like, chances are, if you don't like something, whether it's admin, accounting, editing videos, you should be getting someone else to do it. Because inherently, if you don't like it, you're not going to be very good at it. So next point we come into is capital leverage, right? So the money you have within your business, that is a form of leverage in terms of you can put that in. So you put $1 in, so you get $2 come out essentially. And that's a form of leverage. So an actual way to leverage money, which I'd highly suggest everyone does, is if you, say for example, pay for Facebook ads on an Amex card, you get shitloads of points for that, which is good because you can travel and come to stuff like this. But you don't have to pay that money for a month, right? So you can use that money to acquire clients, get money to come in before you have to pay it back, which is a form of leverage. So this is one of the key skills that works really, really well in terms of building the business. Now, an ad we're actually running as an example at the moment that's crushing it. Because we're coming to Vegas, like, fuck it, we'll run an ad to Las Vegas. So we've started running video ads in this format of the, like, I am looking for 5 men, blah, 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 with the text coming on the screen. The cost per message we're getting on these leads is really, really low. So these are coming through at like, I think that one's like £2.50 a message or something, Aidan. So we're actually going to try moving all of our ads to this format because this is coming across a much higher hit rate, because I think there's a lot of people running the text SMS style of ads, whereas if you're good at talking and these are put together well and you've got a good backdrop, they are very good in terms of converting. In terms of the copy we use for this, so the description is exactly the same as basically the standard SMS style graphic we would use.
So do you think quality to add up all these because they need video?
I think it's too early to tell. We need to qualify them more stringently, I think, but I would say probably yes, because they have to watch it, right? Because like, if you look at that, so I'm looking for 5 million, that's it doesn't say what it is. So at least have to engage some of it to see what it's about. And I think them seeing you talk is more powerful than just reading a copy. I don't know if you would agree. In particular, American people trust British people, apparently. So it's actually proven, I think, in marketing. So third thing we want to look at is software and AI, right? So some examples of this is we just want to streamline everything within your business. So a lot of people have very clunky systems, whether it be in terms of payments, onboarding new clients. The goal is you want to automate as much stuff as you can, because as the business grows, you're going to get what's called friction of scale. Whereas if like it might work manually, you signing up 1 client a day, you can send out a questionnaire, you can chase them, you can deal with any problems that come up. You start getting 10 people, you have to manually email a questionnaire to every day, like check if a response is coming through, have they filled it in, all this sort of stuff. That's then going to become a pain in the arse and a problem. And things will slip through the cracks, which will cost you a lot of money. So for example, we have things like automatic reminders. If a client has signed up and they haven't completed their onboarding form, a notification gets fired into Slack within, I think, 24 hours, whatever it is, so that we chase the person. Because one of the most important things in the process when anyone buys a product and program is like being all over them at the start to make sure they understand what the next steps are. Because from them buying the program to starting, it's just like a window of doubt where they're likely sometimes to get like buyer's remorse, and particularly if you were quite aggressive in terms of the sales process with them, which is why it's really important to have a really strong, smooth onboarding process. So you can automate all of these things. Way to that is obviously with active campaign, email automations and tagging, which if anyone's got any questions, and you can ask Carl Backer for that. Same as using Zapier to fire messages into Slack for anything in terms of notifications, so you know what your business is doing in terms of what's going on in terms of the overall running everything. And then another example would be video.ai, which we use for cutting up a lot of longer form content. So video.ai I know I've spoken about before, but you can upload that video into the platform, and within 5 minutes you have like 20 short form reels. So for example, we could take this video, we could upload that, you can cut that into like 20 short form reels. You could make, if the video is long enough, like 3 to 5 minute sections of chapters. So this is a really easy way to scale your content on multiple platforms, because, and this is one of the things I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it's like, I like podcasts because me and Trevor filmed an awesome one yesterday. you can rip so much out of that hour conversation that you can reuse for different things. And this is a form of leverage in terms of like taking bits out of everything and reusing it over again. And one thing you don't want to get stuck in the habit of doing is like one-time tasks. So like you're making a piece of content once that you can only use once. We want things that we can use, that we can chop up and use multiple times.
Are you still having someone clean that up?
Yeah, because sometimes it's shit. So like some of them aren't good, but you have to like watch the reel first to make sure it's good to use, right? Yeah, and this is the whole thing in creating that omnipresence, which is now going to come into the next thing to talk about, is creating a brand, which is the most important factor for you long term. So if we look at when it comes to creating a brand, we talk about like doing the thing. So like if you're a fitness trainer and you sell fitness products, it probably makes sense you're in good shape and you practice what you preach. Neil, for example, you said to me like, you competing, again, has been the most successful your business has been. Probably not a surprise with that. Probably also not a surprise to most people. Like if you got in the best shape of your life, you'll probably make more money as well in terms of that coming across on social media and better. So the reason why you want to think like this is the highest level of authority in any industry, whether it be fitness, whether it be business, is this. And that's the person who does the thing, so is in great shape, stays in great shape, practice what they teach, and then they can also do the same thing with other people. And they've got a proven track record of doing that. So for example, us with Civic Scaling Systems, we have a highly successful fitness business. We still do the thing every day. We help other people do the thing every day. So it's then irrefutable that you know what you're doing because you can do it, you can teach other people to do it. Same with you in your fitness business. It's like, you should be in really good shape, be like an example, and then you get other people in the exact same shape. And there's no reason why anyone can then question that process. So with that, what you need to do is be telling your story. So story from where you started from. Like Trevor was very vulnerable on the podcast we talked about yesterday. Like, where did you come from? What did you overcome? Now, the big problem with this that most people like need to realize, 15-second views don't create a real brand in terms of like TikTok and shit like that. We need people to buy into longer form content because that's where people are going to see your personality and they'll get to know you more. Like even the amount of people have said to me like, you said this on a podcast, I'm like, fuck, that's sick. Like I forgot I even said that. And that's when you know people are like buying into you because they're saying what you said back to yourself and like, I forgot I even mentioned that. And that's when you know people are taking things in. So what you want to do is you want people to listen, engage, and take in your longer form content. Because this is also the easiest way for you to give real value. Because in 15 seconds, what you're going to do for anyone? You can create something viral, which is really important. But you want to think about taking viral, high view traffic and short form content, and then try and move people to longer form content, where they're actually going to buy into you as a person. So, as I mentioned, the reason why I love podcasts is it's evergreen content. So it generates traffic on autopilot. So the podcast I did yesterday with Trevor, in 5 years' time, people will still be listening to that from that hour I put in. So that's like compounding effective leverage over a long period of time. The other 300 fitness podcasts I've already done on my fitness podcast, still getting listens every single day. Like people just listen to it and then people are buying into you, they're finding out about you. Particularly if you maybe have a podcast, you start getting bigger name guests on, people search that person, they find out about you, they start to find more of your content. So the problem with that versus IG and TikTok is that it only really has relevance for a couple of days. Like the reality is if you post something really good on Instagram or TikTok I'm not a huge fan of, but it's good for testing content. We'll talk about that in a second. But why Instagram works really well is just to get quick reach in, but then I'd really try and pull people into the longer stuff, which is where people are really going to buy into you more. So a really simple way to summarize this is think about be the person your audience wants to be, right? And Trevor actually said this to me yesterday. It's like you're like, I can't remember how you framed it, but you were like, you're the person I want to be. You're like, you're in good shape, you travel a lot, you have a good lifestyle, and that's what people buy into. So whether like you want to think about, okay, who are the women I'm trying to help? What is it that's important to them? What's the lifestyle that would be appropriate to them that's going to appeal to them? And actually show them some of that. Now, the reality of what you want to think about that is just being the attractive character in the journey. So you want to be like the poster boy, poster girl at the front of it, ready to pull people in. So with that in mind, big thing I'd say is showcase you can have it all. So whether it be You can be in great shape, you can travel, you can eat nice places, and you can have an abundant lifestyle whilst not sacrificing everything. So I think a huge misconception, particularly maybe even in the UK, is like fitness trainers don't think they can be in great shape and be financially really successful. I've had numerous people say that to me in the past. And again, that's a very limiting belief. And again, until someone does it, then you don't know what you don't know, right? So the big thing is being like the celebrity in your niche. So whatever your niche would be, whether that's in a small town wherever you're from, whether that be in Las Vegas, whether that be in mums in southern USA. Or look at Frank in the Netherlands, for example. So when we come to talking about legacy is something that's going to outlast you, not rely on you solely, right? So what you want to do is try and create a longer lasting legacy in your business. So what I think is huge with this, which is really, really important, are live events. So last weekend, we did a fitness event here for our fitness clients. A fitness client coming in all over from the USA, we took loads of photos, we trained with them. They got like touch and feel this in person. Now this is so valuable because these people always remember this. And also, they're going to post it and share it with all their friends. So it's a really good way to get more referrals. It's also a really good way to improve retention because they know, like, and trust you more, they've met you. The reality is if someone's come and trained with you and they're like, holy fucking shit, like this was amazing, like, one of our clients, the mastermind, like he came on the podcast, we basically couldn't get rid of him. He didn't want to leave. So like, he actually had to get a flight. I think he might have missed his flight because he wouldn't leave our house after doing the podcast. But the reality is like, you want people to meet you, get around you, and get a feel for you as a person. So like AJ can say you're much taller in real life and more handsome. Because this is where people are going to buy into you and see you're a real person, right? And see you for what you are. So, and go all out for them, and don't be a letdown. Because I think there's that expression of like, don't ever meet your heroes. As a lot of times you meet people and you're like, you're not really what I thought you were, which is, I think, is an important thing to try not to be. Now, the minimum KPI is just for everyone in this room is you do at least one live event a year with your clients. If you don't want to do it where you're from, do it in a cool location. So think about your demographic of who your clientele are. Where do they like to go? Like Catherine, Brittany, you guys like going to Mexico. Maybe you do one in Mexico. Like loads of people in North America like going there, right? You could do something there. Whether it be, Trevor, you do one in Texas, or you do one in Vegas, or you go to Florida. Like doing something in person is huge because that creates like that tribe community. And then also you get other people to talk to each other who are part of that community. And then when you have a community, people don't want to leave. But also from a marketing point of view, the benefit of this, you've got all these success stories of clients for you. You can get all video reviews an entire day from them. Like, I don't know, we had maybe 15, 20 video reviews last weekend from that to use. We did a photo shoot with some of them as well who are in great shape. We had loads of photos of them training. Like, the amount of content we had from that will probably keep us going for 6 months. So this would be a minimum I would expect everyone in this room to do per year. And it's not expensive to do. Next thing I'd say is really important is like having a vision of where you want your involvement to be in the business 6 to 12 months time. So like one of the big mistakes people get is they get too granular in the business and they don't stick their head up above the water to see like what's going on. Now, if you don't know where you're going to go, like, how are you going to get there? So an important thing is really identifying like what do you want this business to look like, not just financially, but what do you actually want to be doing, right? So if we break this down to some more tasks. So task number 1, what's your zone of genius that you think it is? Write it down. And then I'd also ask your team. Because when you start to understand what you're really good at, this is all you should really probably be doing. The reality is, right? Like, if you ask Krell and Aiden, like, admin and like things like that's probably not my thing, like, respectfully. And so I would stay away from that and get someone else to do it because I just don't have patience for things like that. And this is a huge thing to think about. Next thing would be, what do you actually want to do and you enjoy doing? Because the whole point of doing this is stuff you like doing, right? Like, it's supposed to be fun, and the more you enjoy your business, the more successful you'll be. Some of it's going to be shit. There's some difficult stuff you don't want to do sometimes. But the reality is, the more you enjoy it, the harder you're going to work. And that's my opinion in terms of building a legacy in the brand of the business and leverage. Any